Hi, I'm Gorani Tongkai, PhD student from Law School, Faculty of Humanities and Social Science, University of Strathclyde. My research is about the analysis of green tax system in the EU and the OECD guideline, the application of EU green tax to the ASEAN. Due to man-made environmental harm caused by economic development and rapid growth of the the environment damage has occurred all around on the earth and also led to the climate change and pollution. This problem has increased continuously. The leader of each country try to encourage people to preserve and protect environment by the environment protection policy on behalf of environmental law. But this policy is not effective due to the human behavior and problems with the enforcement of environmental law. It is the reflection of command and control system failure to achieve ongoing improvement which the historical environment protection in most countries based on. Therefore, the measure of environmental law enforcement has been stimulated all around. In some regions, such as the EU, has been successful with this measure of economic instrument as tax to preserve the environment, which called green tax or environmental tax, in order to tax the polluter who pollute the environment on behalf of the environmental tax law under the theory of PPP principle. In the region of Southeast Asia, especially the ASEAN, has been faced to this difficulty. Looking for the appropriate and accurate part of EU green tax law system to apply for the ASEAN green tax law system is the intentional objective and emphasized. The purpose of this study is to analyze and evaluate the environmental tax or green tax principle and also figure if there is the green tax system or not, especially in the EU under the OECD guideline, which believe that existent. To begin with the fundamental of green tax outlined and evaluate, then analyze with both the EU green tax reform and the ASEAN blueprint. Go green policy including green tax in ASEAN as well as in Thailand. The new environmental tax law draft of Thailand will be discussed. Then the effect of green tax reform will be discussed against both environment and economic aspects. There will be also the comparative analysis between the EU green tax law and ASEAN green tax law policy for environmental tax law reform. The conclusion will indicate as green tax is a substantial tool for both environmental and economic sectors. The best and appropriate part of the EU green tax system and green tax law will be emphasized to be the model of ASEAN law. This research aims to study intensive and gather information from textbooks, journals, articles, thesis research, and judgment of any countries related to this area from libraries in the UK, government archives in the UK, the EU, or the US. And also in ASEAN, for example, Thailand, Singapore, and Malaysia. Moreover, study intensively for both from EU and ASEAN, including regulations related to the environmental law and environmental tax law. The legal comparative research in the environmental law and environmental tax law in the EU and ASEAN will also be made in this aspect. The study will, however, also rely on informal interviews with experts on elections and related matters. There will be 5 chapters in my research. The first chapter will be the command and control weakness and its interest in economic instruments. The theory of command and control policy for environmental protection will be explained, and as well as the economic instruments for the environmental protection. Chapter 2 will be about the criteria for assessing effectiveness of environmental tax. All questions about the green tax or environmental tax will be discussed. Moreover, OECD Green Growth Strategy Synthesis Report and Stern Review about climate change will also be emphasized. Chapter 3 will be about EU example of environmental taxes. Are they good practice? EU tax reform, type of environmental taxes in EU like carbon tax, water supply tax, and landfill tax will be discussed. The analysis result will also be explained. The new environmental tax law draft of Thailand will be discussed in Chapter 4, which will be the background, the purpose, the details of the new law draft, possibilities and obstacles, and also the analysis result will be completely discussed. The last chapter will be the answer of the question of could Thai law or developed version of Thai law be used more widely in ASEAN? The ASEAN Blueprint, Green Tax Reform in ASEAN and Thailand, the effect of green tax policy in ASEAN, an example of green tax in Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia will be emphasized. The conclusion part will be answered to the question of the effective of green tax. Can Thailand learn anything from EU experience? Would that require changes to the